We have to be careful who we eat from or where we eat from. Earlier this month, in March of 2024, the story of this young man, 37-year-old Alauko Chukwuemeka Christian, broke the internet, where it was said that he was allegedly poisoned by someone at his workplace in Ikorodu of Lagos. It turned out that someone had given him something to eat, or someone had gone to buy food for him from somewhere and may have put something in it, causing him to lose his life. But that is not even the crazy part of this story, because what his boss did next after he had died made everyone believe that this young man was targeted, murdered, or most likely assassinated to keep short. Chukwuemeka Christian is believed to be the only son of his mother, who is pictured here crying and seen weeping for the loss of her son. It's not stated if he's married or if he is involved, so we don't really know anything about his relationship. But we know that he worked at a supermarket in Ikorodu called the Rati Supermarket, a known supermarket around that area. And again, it's still not clear what his role was. He may have been an assistant manager or some kind of quality assurance officer, not stated. Sadly, on the 4th of March 2024, while he was at work, it was said that he may have sent someone to buy him food. And when the food came, he ate it and began complaining about stomach ache. They thought it was just a normal situation like every stomach ache. Unfortunately, it escalated and became worse to the point he began throwing up to the extent that he slumped and died. Put in mind that some sources claim that somebody gave him food to eat. He may have been given food by a co-worker, but the narrative or the popular notion is that he sent someone to buy food for him and they brought the food for him, and that was the food he ate. The someone, we don't know, and where the person brought the food from is not stated. However, we know that after he ate the food, he had an instant reaction that caused him to throw up uncontrollably till he died. And again, as tragic as that point is, it's still not the strangest part of the story, because after he died, his boss decided to deposit his body into the morgue. And in just 24 hours, or in less than a few hours, he was already embalmed and prepared for burial. And while all this was happening in the mortuary, his parents and family have no idea that their son Chukwuemeka was dead. It was when they learned that he didn't come back from work that things started getting serious, and eventually his family got to hear about his passing. But by then, he had already been put in the morgue and had already been embalmed, prepared for burial. Now, the thing here, or the tricky thing, is that a lot of people are questioning why the boss would do such a thing so drastically without even informing his family members that he has died. And it was even said that his intestine was removed in the process of the embalming, which meant that now they would not be able to tell or find out what actually killed him. Because when someone dies, strangely, the next thing should be an autopsy, or if it's a case of poisoning, a toxicology exam is supposed to be carried out on him. And a lot of that toxicology exam takes place in the intestine. On the flip side, to embalm someone who is deceased, the entire intestine is flushed out or removed for some processes, and it will be hard to eventually run an autopsy after the body has been embalmed. And that move by the boss to embalm him is what a lot of people are saying and calling suspicious. And now everyone believes that his boss in the supermarket may have been the one to kill him, or may have had a hand in his death. I would understand if maybe they did all of this because they could not reach any of his family member. It's not clear if his mom also lived in Ikorodu of Lagos. I want to guess, as a 37-year-old man, he most likely wasn't living with his mom or his family. But I'm sure he had loved ones around there who the people could reach out to first before carrying out anything on this young man's body. And again, it's not like I'm trying to defend the boss, but when you look at it, when someone dies instantly, decomposition begins in the moment. And the best thing to do, especially in a situation when they die suddenly from food poisoning, is to carry out an autopsy. However, over here in Nigeria, an autopsy is expensive, and if it's not done immediately, it's best to preserve the body in a freezer. But here is the thing, depending on the morgue, a freezer preservation for a deceased person would be expensive because electricity is needed, and given the situation in Nigeria, I can imagine how the cheapest option is to immediately embalm him for preservation. However, that choice to embalm him has finally turned around to bite the boss in the ass, because in that process, she has gotten rid of every possibility to find out what killed him. Even if Nigeria decides to come to help this man and find justice for him, the embalming process would most likely make it more difficult or impossible to know what actually killed him, if it's from the food or if it's some kind of health related issue that he has. And it even gets worse for the boss when it was said that when the family of Chukwuemeka went to meet her and confront her about the death of their son, she instantly asked how much it would take or cost to bury him, that she is willing to cover his burial cost, which is very funny and ridiculous because they are asking for answers. They're requesting for what happened to him, and she is busy